Advanced English Arabic Learning Session 113. His rebuttal appeared in yesterday's op-ed. An op-ed piece. We are raising the stakes on this because we are concerned. Just give me a holler anytime you want a hand. He hollers when he wants feeding. I got his number, so you can holler at him when you get a chance. To marry an ex-con with no prospects. He started a lumber yard. His family established several businesses including a lumber yard. You ain't no redneck, you're all Yankee. It hadn't rained since last winter and the ground was bone dry. Give her a boost into the saddle. She boosted the little boy up to see over the fence. Lubricate the hinge if the door squeaks. Guests have at their disposal a large solarium on the roof. He diddled his income tax returns. My hair is on fleek right now. No wonder her fashion choices are on fleek. I don't want my brows to be on fleek. She came by her compassion honestly, as her mother. Her time in the race was a personal best. I decide to cut the trip short and return home that night. I had to cut short my trip, there was a crisis back at the office. A sickle, toothed like a saw, is used for reaping. She bought herself a hoe and a sickle. She put 2 bottles of formula in the fridge. The new baby's arrival has made them more safety conscious. His brother was a safety conscious man. He had been troubled by a left inguinal hernia in his lower abdomen. One man was waited for a hernia operation. A smile goes a long way. The seminar will be presented in layman's terms. They wore me down and I told them what they wanted to know. He's just pulling your chain. I thought he really won the lottery, but he was only pulling my chain. Drugs are a ball and chain for many people. He referred to his wife as the ball and chain. Executives got an earful about poor rail connections. Don't make the rookie error of hiring someone just like you. The mayor tried to put a positive spin on the damaging polls. The pundit's spin on the new legislation was highly critical. He treated the players with courtesy and good humor. Every leering eye in the room was on her. He stepped up to coach the team. Police decided to step up security plans for the game. The transformer can step up or step down voltages. The companies wanted to stay in good standing with the government. He could vent his spleen on the institutions which had duped him. The spleen contains infection-fighting white blood cells. Spleen pain is usually felt as a pain behind your left ribs. The soundtrack is a blast from the past. My dad puts his foot down when it comes to my bedtime. You're way off. We muscled our way out. His stake has been held in escrow since the start of the year. I inherited money that will be in escrow until I turn 21 years old. The buyer may deposit the money into an escrow account instead of paying cash. We had similar ideas about the show, and the two of us hit it off right away. His questionable financial deals. The door is open, so I am letting myself in. You look very fetching. He used to eat worms to gross her out. This election could be a twofer, we win the White House and the Supreme Court. Meals to tempt the most jaded appetites. I felt terribly jaded after working all weekend. We had both become jaded. She is a firecracker. For a fleeting moment I saw the face of a boy. 10 Chinese migrant workers drowned in the fierce riptide. An exploitative form of labor. What gives? A trapped she-wolf. The clarity and permanence of the dies. A savage beatdown. There is not enough money in the coffers to finance the reforms. I had to bite my tongue and accept his explanation. Bite your tongue. Sorry to come by unannounced. I pumped my brakes and managed to stop my car. You can avoid locking wheels by pumping the brakes yourself. They can raise interest rates and use that to pump the brakes on the economy. Prayers for deliverance. The longer a sleepwalk lasts, the nearer the person comes to a state of wakefulness. Apparently, people who sleepwalk often make for the wardrobe. Foreign interlopers in the cell phone market. He can spot any interlopers among the stars immediately. They were treated as interlopers in their new country. A large opal surrounded by small diamonds. He's not duplicitous in that regard, but he is a complex man. Duplicitous is someone who intentionally misleads people. Young people ending up as factory fodder. The animals need foddering. A burglar jemmied his patio doors. The pursuit of perfection is a Sisyphean task. The review was conducted thusly. At times, his rantings would become incoherent. Now the players are even getting physical with the refs. Homespun philosophy. He was a cold-blooded brute. What an unfeeling little brute you are. Eliot's arguments are wholly beside the point. Behind every successful man there stands a woman. 5 league wins in a row was just too good to be true. The heat would be insufferable by July. An insufferable bully. A heartless and conniving person. I did not connive in the production of these documents. She connived with a senior official to rig the results of last year's election. Endocrinologist. A diabetes specialist is called an endocrinologist. He is an endocrinologist who specializes in treating both type I and type 2 diabetes. Heroic deeds. Indestructible plastic containers. A single lamp glowed dimly in the gloom. She delivered her homily about the need for patience. I need some intel, and I need it fast. Yesterday afternoon the White House put out a new version of events. Your version of events is now going out into the world. I write this with some trepidation, having only your version of events. A budding chrysanthemum. A dismembered corpse. I am a complete Philistine when it comes to paintings. We must all pitch in and do our part. If we all pitch in together, it shouldn't take too long. When I bought this house, all my friends pitched in to help fix it up. My brother pitched in with an offer of help. We've been out of touch for some time. Neither am I. He knew himself all too prone to indiscretion. Trichotillomania appears to be a fairly common disorder. Nemertz was a sea nymph. A tenacious woman. He's really having a banner day. Technology stocks had a banner month. 1965 was a banner year for the company. Erica became fascinated with the man who was her polar opposite. My sister and I are nothing alike. We are polar opposites. In the morning he was still pale and queasy. The chef recently passed the baton to her young assistant. Emergency measures may be necessary in order to avert a calamity. A moralistic stance on advertising. This horse has already bolted. Adam and Eve's banishment from the Garden of Eden. The twins grew like weeds, it seemed we were buying clothes every few. You're growing like a weed. The pilot's best bet was to make an emergency landing. The best bet for stabilizing the national economy. He who dares wins. His horse bolted when the gun went off. The unattended horse bolted and damaged the plaintiff's property. Her behavior went unnoticed and unattended to. It is not acceptable for parents to leave children unattended at that age. She clung to him, attempting to climb him as the cat-like critter. Most tickets have been snapped up, so get cracking if you want one. It is a shame when a mother outshines a daughter. A supernova would outshine all the other stars in its galaxy. If a partner won't accept your friends, that's usually a deal breaker. The end. Coming next. Session 114.